Hello and welcome. What you're watching is a time lapse of my stream that I had on Wednesday night in coloring this photograph, and I thought I'd do a little voiceover so I could explain kind of what was going on. So first thing I do is I open the photo and I put a black and white layer on it to make sure that there's no sepia tones or anything on it. I also adjust my levels to give myself a little more contrast, and then I immediately go into coloring. The first color I use is a red that I put over all the skin. I use this at 40% opacity but a 100% brush. The color is CE1212 if you're wondering. I don't know the rest of the colors, but I know this one has a lot to do with the final outcome of the photo. And I'm just coloring all the skin that is exposed. I hit Alt and click, and this tells me where I missed some spots and where I went a little bit over, so I can get a good thorough coloring over everything. Had a little freeze on camera there at the stream, so I adjusted it, and now I'm back and answering a couple of questions for people on the stream. And then I got the last arm. I do an outline of it sometimes, push G for my paint bucket, color in the big area, and then just grab anything that I kind of missed there. The next cutter is going to be another red. It's going to be a little darker, but I'm going to reduce my brush down to a 6% flow. But the opacity on the layer is going to be 100%. This red is used for those areas that are close to the bone and they get a lot of sun. The cheeks, the nose, the bridge of the nose, the forehead. I also put this around the eyes, and then as you can see here, I'm doing all the knuckles and the fingers, the fingernails will all get this red, some highlights on the arms. Any veins that are popping out. The next color is just a bright red to get those areas of the eyes that are the inner eyelid, I guess you could say, on the bottom. It looks a little off, but a little bright, I should say, but we adjust our opacity so we get good color there. And all the layers can be adjusted, can be deleted, erased, manipulated in any which way we can. This is a lip color. It's a standard lip color that I use, and then I'll reduce that from 100% when I color it down. Usually I start about 40% and adjust to there to get a good natural color in there. The next color is going to be a yellow that I use to get those areas that are not so close to the bone, but little fatty areas. And you'll see I do go over cheeks that I had red, but here there's a area on the arm that I do put some yellow in. That's right next to the other red because it is a little fatter area there. Anything between the fingers gets this yellow. And then I go to this blue and I take one swipe down each of them, and I'll adjust that down again, starting at about 40%. That blue is for the flash in the studio. There's always a blue tint to it, so it just kind of gives that little bit of enhancement to it. I then put on the major skin color, and that skin color goes all the way up into the hair. And I'll get all of the hair with this skin color because hair is skin, essentially. I did 2 different layers for the skin because they do have different complexions. But either way, it will go there. And then I'll reduce this layer down till I get a good skin tone. Go back to the first layer and just adjust it to where she looks like she's a little bit more natural. I did paint over the teeth with red, and I've adjusted that to give it, a natural yellowish on the teeth. Here I'm selecting the eyes and working on that red color that I got down in there, and then erasing anything that I might have overpainted into the eyeballs. To the irises. Once that's all erased, I'll go in and pick a color for the hair, and this gives it a little more contrast and a little more natural look to it. I do have these colors already separated out for blondes, brunettes, and even gray hair and redheads. I then work on the eyes, just finding that shade, and because the gray is a light gray, I went with a blue on both of them. And just adjust it until I find something that looks a little natural. From there, I'll select their shirts. There's a good contrast between their shirts, the arms, the background, and everything, so I can pretty much select everything, get my paint bucket, fill it up, move to a soft light opacity, and then find a good color that matches there. Find out where I need to erase that yellow, which is around buttons and little pendants that are sticking on there. Go in and kind of fine tune. Here I'm fine tuning the skin. Here you'll see me painting on more of the shirt, but I also have to erase some of the skin that I overpainted there. Find a color for her skirt. I just start with the yellow, I move to a blue, and then try to find where it's going to match the same tone as the black and white. I then select everything, do an inverse select, and color in the background. Start erasing where I had colored. Find a good background color, and start erasing that background color from anything that happened on the front, like the bowling balls, and there was a couple areas inside their shirts that were a little off. Jewelry I color with a gold color that is in my hair palette, and you can see me moving back and forth between the gold and then the skin color, looking for something to color the bowling balls, which are black bowling balls, but they're still going to reflect a little something, so try to adjust a blue to give me just a hint of a blue tint there. Not very much. Final layer I put on is a brown or a blue that covers the whole thing at a very low opacity, just to bring it out even more, a little more contrast, and kind of brighten those colors a little bit. And that's pretty much the end of it. So hope you learned something here, and that's how I colorize a photo. Thanks for watching.